The Republican candidates trot their stuff in New Hampshire, and Mitt Romney gets a coveted endorsement. How's the 2012 race shaping up? I'm Alan Barton. Stay tuned for Front Page. Joining me from Austin, Texas is the PJ Tatler's Bryan. Preston. Bryan, good to have you with us. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Alan.
So what did you think on last night's debate? One of the big questions was whether your very own governor would do better than he has in the three previous. What did you think?
Well, it's kind of a strange debate. I mean, we heard a lot of numbers, 999 and 59 and so forth, and then we had Michelle Bachmann allege that Herman Cain's economic plan may be a satanic plot. And then Rick Perry talked a lot about energy, but didn't actually show any energy. It's kind of a strange debate. A lot of Charlie Rose, way too much of kids lecturing us on economics. Did Governor Perry do what he needed to do? No, he didn't. And in a strange way, I think we may be seeing Rick Perry be the victim of his own success. He became governor in Texas in 2000 when Governor George W. Bush resigned to become president. And debates have not mattered in a Texas gubernatorial election really since 1994, thereabouts. They haven't mattered at all. He hasn't done a debate, a real serious debate in a few years, and it shows. He is still shaking that rust off.
Now, one of the other big news yesterday was that Chris Christie threw his weight behind Mitt Romney. Now, how does this help the Massachusetts governor? Is it and does it, or does it? Are people going to say like, well, Chris Christie is a little bit far left than I thought he was?
Threw his weight, huh? Well played, sir. I think what we're seeing really is the Northeastern corridor, the Northeastern establishment Republican Party really coalescing around Mitt Romney. We saw it about a week ago with Georgette Mossbacher coming out and announcing that she's going to raise money exclusively for Romney because she considers him the nominee. And of course, she's very high up in RNC circles. And now we've seen Christie do something similar. Now, Christie does have more street credibility with the conservative side of the party than Mitt Romney does or really ever will because of Christie's actions of going against the unions there in New Jersey and really taking on the fiscal mess that New Jersey has that he inherited there. But he is definitely to the left of the center of gravity of the party on social issues. So he doesn't really help Romney there. And I think their rollout yesterday was a bit of a mistake in a way because Romney came out kind of throwing insults at Perry and Christie backed those up. They could have both come out and said, look, we are here together today because we have the strongest candidate. We want to win, full stop. I think that's where they should have stopped instead of antagonizing the other rivals in the race.
All right, the other major player, we've seen Godfather's Pizza CEO, Herman Cain. He's surged to become a top-tier candidate. Latest Gallup shows his support tripling. So what do you think is going on here? Is it just his personal appeal? He's got a great sense of humor, a great sense of himself. Do you think he's got the legs to continue with this success?
Man, Cain is fascinating, and I think this really is his moment right now in the primary season because what we've seen so far is not a single vote cast and not a whole lot of evidence or need for organization. What we're seeing is folks doing speeches, doing appearances, and then doing these debates. And Cain has capitalized on these debates like no one else. He's a very consistent performer because he's very smart and because he's very well-spoken and because he has very good ideas. I think whether or not he has legs, we're really going to start finding out in December and January when the first votes are cast. We know that Romney has a national organization. We know that Perry is still in the process of building a national organization, but he has the money to fund it. We know that. What we don't know is what kind of organization Herman Cain can build or what he can afford, and we'll find out.
All right, let's go to our panel here on the set. YARON Brooke, president of the Ayn Rand Center for Individual Rights, and Terry Jones, associate editor for Investors Business Daily. YARON, you were pleased as punch, I know, by all of the candidates. As a sum and as a total, you were just thrilled. You got on Twitter and you just kept on saying exciting things about what you were saying, right?
I did. I mean, for a year in which the Republican Party is supposed to be leading this Tea Party revolution, changing everything in Washington, this is, to put it bluntly, a pathetic field. Now, it's true, you could compose a good candidate by taking little elements in each one of these guys and putting it all together and we could get a good candidate. But none of them seem to have any kind of charisma. The barely articulate Perry in particular. Mitt Romney is leading this field in spite of the fact that he's about as liberal as George Bush Sr. was. Never mind his son. So we're going to get the same old Republican Party as Bush, who basically paved the way for Obama. It looks like a complete disaster. And, you know, every time they get a tough question, I notice this, every single one of these candidates, this Republican Party is fine with abusing our rights as long as states and localities do it and the federal government doesn't do it. I mean, that was one of the most horrifying things. So Perry yesterday said, it's okay to subsidize businesses as long as states do it and not evil federal government. This is intellectually bankrupt. That's, you know, this notion and these ideas. And they can't win, because if you're going to subsidize businesses at this level, why, if central planning works here, why doesn't it work over there?
Terry, let's bring you in. Obviously, Cain's, the biggest economic plan on the table amongst all of them is Cain's 999 plan. It's very easily understood. He's very good at promoting it. What is its actual value as an economic plan? What do you think of it?
Well, I don't care about it one way or the other. I mean, I see it as an intermediate talking point. He has said in the past he wants to go to the fair tax, which is a national sales tax. I think you should go straight for that and make an argument for it. But 999 merely splits off
dangerous, because you give the government two levers now that they can move. It's not going to say 999 for long. It'll be 14, 14, 14, and 15, 16, 20, and they can start to move all of those now.
Go back to 1913 when we first got the income tax. They said, look, we're just going to put a 2% tax on you. Don't even worry about it. You won't even notice it. Yeah. And of course, within 5 years, the top marginal rate was at 70%. Yeah. So, you know, you can never trust creating a new tax. And this has happened in Europe, by the way, where they have a VAT tax and national income taxes. They've all been raised.
What do you think, Yaron, of how Romney is dealing with the big thing against him, obviously? Romneycare versus Obamacare. They're Obamacare based on Romneycare, Obamacare. Do you think he has come up with an answer that is making the issue going to go away? What do you think? He's sort of saying, well, the states have the rights to experiment, and we experimented, and I like some things about it, and I don't like some things about it, but the feds do not have the right to do this mandate. Do you think that's a logical argument?
No, I don't think it is at all. I think it's the point I made earlier. It's okay for the states to redistribute wealth and to socialize medicine and all this stuff. And the problem is, when he makes that claim, Perry and even Bachmann and some of the others don't know what to say. They can't say anything because they're state rights people too. Somebody has to stand up and say
individual rights person.
Exactly. Somebody has to say individual rights, and therefore nobody has a right to take money from me and give it for Joe for his health care. Nobody has a right to require me to buy health insurance. Nobody has a right to socialize medicine, and it doesn't matter to socialize the system, and it doesn't matter if it's done on a local or federal level. And until somebody stands up to Romney, he's got a free ride, because, you know, Perry tries to argue against it. They all
he doesn't seem to be very skilled at that sort of.
None of them are very skilled at really getting Romney.
Bryan, let's finish with you. The primary calendar has been thrown into a bit of chaos because of Florida's decision to hold an early primary. So how do you think this accelerated schedule is going to impact the candidates?
Well, Alan, I think it obviously benefits the candidates that already have some organization built, which that's Mitt Romney and that's Perry to an extent. He's still building his organization out. The other candidates, they're already scrambling for organization. You know, Bachmann shut down an office in Virginia the other day, and the rumor about her is that she has only been campaigning in urban Iowa lately and nowhere else. Cain doesn't have an organization, Santorum doesn't, Gingrich doesn't, because they all left and became part of Perry's organization. The two candidates, maybe three with Cain, that have an organization in early December, in place in Iowa, New Hampshire, Florida, those are the ones that are going to benefit. The rest, this really hurts them.
All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for Bryan, Yaron, and Terry. I'm Alan Barton. You've been watching Front Page.